About 2 weeks ago into the Sidequest Gaming Expo. Now, I had to re-record this or been out sooner. My microphone ruined it. I'm going to talk a little about the event. It stopped being called the Video Game Swap Meet and became the Sidequest Gaming Expo. It is a lot like the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. That's why I call it the Part 2 or the Mini or the Junior Edition. It's no longer just the Video Game Swap Meet. It is its own con, and it is tripled in size. A lot of vendors at this one. As I picked up my badge early, I didn't have to wait in line to get the badge. There really wasn't a line, not till really 5-10 minutes beforehand, because we got the hour early. That's what that green sticker means. We got an hour early. There was a showroom A and showroom B. So you had the main hall and the other one inside the DoubleTree. So I decided to go to the main hall one. We go in and it's not as crowded as I thought. I was like, where's all the hour early people? But still, you can take your time, look around. A lot of cool stuff. There was stuff I've never seen at a con before. You have your little Samsung. You have more expensive NES games. Someone had an M82 demo unit. There was this. These were exclusive Splatterhouse shoes and shirt. The shoes he wanted $600 for. Of course, I'm looking for Game Player magazines. I actually find Game Player. Someone actually had the encyclopedia. Volume 3. Anything after Volume 3, they get really tough to find, but it's kind of cool to see Volume 3. But I did find some other Game Players. We'll talk about that in a minute too. And I saw some really good deals. Someone sold a whole case full of Game Gear stuff, like a Game Gear and some stuff that was in boxes. They were selling that for $150 or $180, and they had 2 cases. The guy was giving really great deals. The second room, it was pretty crowded. You saw standees, you saw some other cool stuff. Of course, I'm looking for Saturn. I'm looking for Die Hard Trilogy, Bust-A-Move 3. Besides the Die Hard Trilogy and Bust-A-Move 3, I was also looking for Brain Dead 13, a game I wanted to pick up at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I have a little list for Super Nintendo, not a whole lot. Maybe Skyblaze, Super Adventure Island 2. But I was mostly looking for Saturn stuff and vintage Game Player magazines. The prices were average. They were pretty much market. Some people were selling below, but mostly in refined market. There was good deals to be found, and there was some really great games, some higher end stuff. I regret not buying one thing. Someone had a CIB Jack Bros that was from Japan for $140. That's a fraction of what Jack Brothers goes here. I'm like, well, I can just pop it in my Virtual Boy and play. So I kind of regret not getting that. They had an arcade portion in the back. That was really cool to see. Toys. And I saw a My Pet Monster, a vintage 80s toy. And nostalgia cost, and nostalgia is expensive. They wanted $330 for it. Don't see them very often, and I thought about getting one a couple of years ago, but I was kind of shocked about the price. But like I said, nostalgia costs money. Last year, I bought a really cool poster for my favorite comic series, which is X-Men Age of Apocalypse. I have it on my wall in my office, my game room here. And I didn't really get anything like that. I saw a couple things I was interested in. Looked for a couple shirts. Some people had some shirts that were vintage, but they were pretty spendy. Like I said, nostalgia is expensive. Really cool stuff to see, some vintage stuff here and there. Stuff you don't see every day, even at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. And for my buddy Retro Reminisce, I was trying to find a link to the past manual. The first print, not the second or third. I found the second and third, but not the first print.
I didn't find it this time, but I'll keep looking.
So let's talk about pickups. Ultra Game Players. This was actually the second to last edition of Game Players. There's one after this, but I don't have very many of these. In fact, I think I don't have any of them now. I got this one and another one. David's booth, he's there every year. Really cool guy. Has a lot of great stuff. And I saw this. Tales from the Crypt. This is volume 2. And I forgot how much it was, $5 or $10. Vintage horror comics. Just love it. So I misplaced a couple Game Boy games. I didn't have a whole lot I wanted to get, but I did find Getaway. This is a pinball game. It's pretty fun. It's it's on the Game Boy. I love the Game Boy. It's probably my second favorite Nintendo system. The original NES, of course, is number 1. Switch is going up there though. I love the Super Nintendo as well. RoboCop 2. I haven't played this in a long time, so I was playing it. I think it's a little better than the NES version, but I misplaced this. I don't know what happened to it. Dead or alive, Grape, you're coming with me. That's what I told the card. So I wasn't really looking a lot for Super Nintendo. I was mostly looking for Saturn stuff. I was looking for maybe the Mass, something like that. I wasn't really looking for Super Nintendo games. I was looking for more Saturn. For really cheap, it's Samurai Showdown. I've had this before on the Super Nintendo in my first set many years ago, over 7-8 years ago. But it was fun to play. I like the arcade game. It looks visually well, but I think, if I remember correctly, it plays better on the Genesis. But it was cheap. F-Zero. And I thought I owned this even last year. I'm like, where is my F-Zero? Where's my F-Zero? And maybe I did. It could have been one lost in the flood, maybe, because I could not find it. It wasn't that expensive, so I bought F-Zero. Futuristic racing game. Demonstrates what the Super Nintendo is capable of. Capable of fun. That's what I say. It was capable of fun. So I'm looking for Super Nintendo games, and I was looking for mainly just one. The Mask. Now, I've never owned this, and I read a couple of reviews on it. I've walked by this several times over the years, and I always thought, what is that game like? So I picked it up. I got for under market. Popped it in. The animation, the feel of the movie's there. And sometimes you just kick back and watch. You'll transform to the Maraca version of himself, or his heart will beat out of his chest. An interesting game. In the first level, kind of throws you off, you don't know what to do. You don't know how the powers work. And I just only played the test, but visually it looks great. And I like the little Easter eggs they put in there about his little moves. But, got for undervalue, and I'll play more later. Coming through, and I see one game, and I've always wanted this game. I've wanted it for a long time. But it's kind of expensive. Space Megaforce. So this is a Toho shooter. It's a lot of fun. I think it's an easier shooter too in a lot of areas. Think about getting this for a long time, and I saw it and I was like, well, why not? It's been on my list before. I was just enjoying playing it, testing it out. It's dropped in value, I think, what it used to go for. But if you still get the CIB copy, it's worth money. But yeah, I got Space Megaforce, so pretty happy about that. I tried to find a couple N64 games, one in particular, Rampage 2 Universal Tour. One I used to have with my brother, and I got Rampage 2. It's kind of monotonous. It kind of reminds me of the NES game. Graphically, it looks great on the N64. Still a lot of fun. Get to eat people, knock down buildings, trample. Let's go on to the Sega Saturn. Not Sega Saturn Adventure 3, that video will eventually come out. So I do have a couple other Sega Saturn games I'm not showing in any videos because I did pick them up for Sega Saturn Adventure 3. David's booth, he had a $5 Sega Saturn game, Slam Jam 96. $5, why not? Bring it home, pop it in, and it's a glitchy mess. I cleaned it, popped it in, still a glitchy mess. For $5, can't complain. I think the data is corrupted. It's one of the only games I've seen something like this. It was a hoot to see it, and I kept laughing. You can't play it. I got Area 51. Used to have it on the PlayStation 1. I think it plays really good on the Saturn. Actually, I think I prefer to play this on the Saturn versus the PlayStation. I got kind of hooked in playing it. Got for a really good deal. It's an arcade classic. And the Saturn really does have some really good arcade ports. Playing it, enjoying it. And Area 51, going around fighting aliens. It plays well. Really enjoyed it. And this game, did not originally plan on getting, but it was like only $20-something. And I was like, no, why not? This is Battle Monsters. I'm surprised how much fun I had playing this. I kept playing it. I ended up being the skeleton, I think Fangor. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat-esque. One of those Mortal Kombat clones. And, in the monster realm. Their version of the Frankenstein's monster. And he was just kicking my butt. I was like, man, actually, I'm surprised how much fun this was, and I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It plays all right. You know, it's not the best fighting game in the world, but I actually enjoyed it. True Pinball. I picked this up for really cheap. I don't remember how much, but it was really cheap. It's a pinball game on the Sega Saturn. You can play different pinball machines. You know, it's not bad for how much I pay for. I don't mind. Another Sega Saturn game down. I was looking for Die Hard Trilogy, and I found it. And it was not a bad price at all. This has 3 of the Die Hard games: Die Hard, Die Harder, or Die Hard with a Vengeance. I played this before. I used to have the Die Hard trilogy on the PlayStation. So, you know, playing it again, it's like, kind of brings back memories. And it plays all right. If you're in the Sega Saturn like me, it's not bad. So I'm looking forward to playing more of this. So I got Die Hard Arcade at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Now I have the Die Hard trilogy at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo Mini Part 2, the Sidequest Gaming Expo. I had a couple games on the Sega Saturn list. Die Hard, Bust a Move 3. I only found 2 copies of it, and this one I gave an offer, and he said, I'll take it. Bust a Move 3 is fun, cut things in between, which is kind of interesting. It plays really good. It's a fun puzzle game, but I still think I prefer Part 2. But Part 3 is not bad. It costs more money. It's definitely more uncommon than Bust a Move 2. Happy to have it. I'm a sucker for Bust a Move and, you know, the Bust a Move series. So I got one last game. And I saw it in the very beginning of the con. Looked on eBay a couple of times for it as well. I decided to pull the trigger, pick it up this one. And that's Dark Savior. I love the art style of this game. I heard it's a great RPG action game. And I got it for market, but I think this game is going up in price. It kind of goes up and down. For the price, like, okay, I'll go ahead and get it. So I thought about getting it at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo as well. More Sega Saturn games for the collection. Well, this is Josh the Retro Dad. Thank you so much for watching. That is my coverage for the Portland Retro Gaming Expo Mini or Part 2, the Sidequest Gaming Expo Year 2. It's an annual event. It's getting bigger every year, but I will not do coverage anymore. This is my last year doing coverage because it's a different con. I want to do one last year of showing that con. I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Got some great games, and I hope to see you guys at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo in September. So these are not from the Sidequest Gaming Expo. I got them at a estate sale a couple weeks ago. I still want to show them in this video. I got the Super Pad 64 Plus. I actually like this controller. And I got a sealed NES 4 score. Really good deals for both of them. And I got this at the estate sale as well. If you like this content, please subscribe, follow, like, do all that. It really does help me out. I'm trying to grow this channel. I have my paranormal show called Strange Occurrence. You wouldn't mind checking that out. It'll eventually have its own channel as well. So 2 different channels, 1 gaming, 1 paranormal. And this will have some other stuff in as well. Have fun, go game, and see you guys later.